I haven't done anything related to Star Wars outside of two things. One, my complaint about the Knights of the Old Republic OG reboot that Sony got their paws on, and then it went to multiple platforms, or rather, rewrite, which I'm disgusted by. And two, my Rise of Skywalker review, which I did on New Year's Eve of 2019, immediately after I saw the film. And anyone who knows me knows I've gone into full blown boycott with the franchise that I once loved after Disney basically butchered it to turn it into a social justice warrior's political driving engine. I mean, BS engine. That being said, I want to talk about the codes of both the Jedi Order and the Sith Order, and why I think both codes are very dangerous. To me, when you look at these codes, I'll start by reciting each code. First, the Jedi Code. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. Essentially, this code is an epitome of self sacrifice to the will of the Force at the expense of your humanity or whatever your sentientism is. You basically give up any form of attachment or hopes of forming any kind of bonds in exchange for compassionate love and commitment to all sentient life. On the other hand, this is what the Sith Code says. So I'll be going with the base version with this one. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me, or shall set me free, depending on how you want to use it. This code basically is about embracing your passions and obtaining your goals no matter the cost. In most cases, in service to oneself. That you're free to go about your daily doings, all in the pursuit of power, for complete and utter hegemonic dominance over others. However, I look at both codes from a different angle. I do not view the Jedi Code as a strict adherence to abstinence. It's an apathy, nor do I view the Sith Code as a grant of permission. I view both codes as a warning. A warning against what? What both are tethered to, and what I view as another route to the dark side. Dogma. For ideals give way too easily to this, and dogma ultimately leads to fanaticism. Let's say, for example, go back to the Tales of the Jedi comics that are set in the Knights of the Old Republic era. Prior to certain referendums to the Code, specifically prior to the events of the Great Sith War against Exar Kun, Jedi were allowed to have multiple masters, were allowed to have multiple Padawans, and in some cases, these Jedi were allowed to marry. And then throw in, but the war against Exar Kun very strongly crippled the Jedi. then go into the events of the Mandalorian Wars, which happened prior to the events of Knights of the Old Republic 1. This is when the Jedi historian and Jedi Master Atris basically said that the code has to be altered and stripped to the following. One, take in Force sensitives before they turn 3. Rare case, though there were rare cases where they can get them from beyond the age of 3. And 2, no attachments of any kind allowed, social or emotional. Essentially, by doing this, the Order ended up doing itself far more harm than good. Because, in my opinion, this strict adherence and indoctrination to these two tenets in particular crippled the Order for many millennia. All because of one woman who thought she was preserving the Jedi Order when she was really weakening it with her own fanaticism to ensure that no Jedi ever fell to the dark side again. She ended up in turn falling to the dark side, only to be rescued and atoned and stood on that atonement after being bested by one of the very Jedi she condemned following the Mandalorian Wars, the Jedi exile Mitra Surik. If you've ever played Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. Keep in mind, I've never played this game. I have beaten Coder 1, though I never did a full complete playthrough. I always stuck to playing my role as a male, light side individual. And believe me, to do a complete playthrough, you would have had to do 12 playthroughs of the game. 3 as a light side male, 1 for each class, 3 of a scout, scoundrel, and soldier, 3 on the dark side, and 3 with female, and 6 on the female end. Yeah, you would have had to play this game 12. Completions have to play this fucker 12 times. Same thing with Coder 2. If you want to get a completion, if you're a full-blown completionist. I'm not, for those wondering. Sure, there are a few games where I've gotten all 100% of the quests done, like Batman Arkham City, Sonic 3, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. But that's about it in terms of my completionist mentality. And that's Sonic 3 without Knuckles. Anyway, on the other hand, with the Sith, they're just as dogmatic, if not more so, because again, letting your passions get too far out of hand and without any level of control basically turns them into nothing more than rabid animals. Those who will do anything to get to the top of the food chain. Hence why I say the ideals of these orders have given way over time, eroded into dogma, and dogma became fanaticism. It was why when the Jedi Order was reestablished in the original Legends canon, and by Luke, he got rid of the no attachments tenet. And for the Jedi. Because in many ways, he viewed this as what doomed the Order during the days of the Old Republic. More so when they didn't help his father in dealing with his problem. Namely, that attachments of any kind for Anakin were so vital. Now, granted, they brought him in when he was 9, and that had some level of factor to do with it. But had they known he was willing to stoop to go to those lows and lengths just to save his wife, with a power that ultimately ended up killing her, though he didn't know about it, though he wasn't sure. I mean, there are 2 theories as to why Padme died because of Anakin's passion to rescue her, to save her from death. One, she died of a broken heart, consumed by grief of how far that her husband had fallen. The other, and I think this one does have more plausibility behind it, you know that power that Palpatine said and that you could save someone through the dark side. Yeah, he never told Anakin, and with good reason, because he wanted to keep Anakin under his thumb when he was Darth Vader, that to use this power, there was one caveat that he never told him about. And that caveat is to save someone through the power of the dark side of the Force, you have to take the life of another. Essentially, you have to kill in order to save with this power. Now, had Anakin known this truth, he never would have taken it. But when you consider the fact that Yoda was apathetic to him, Mace Windu didn't like Anakin, he didn't really like Anakin. In Master Oppo Rancisis viewed Anakin as too reckless, and Obi-Wan was very slow to act in helping Anakin. Can you blame him for falling to the dark side? Some would say yes, but I'm on the line of saying no. I couldn't blame Anakin for falling to the dark side. All right, if I'm that desperate, and the Order was not that willing to help me, let alone they didn't trust me all that much. But then again, I'm pretty sure this was part of Sidious's scheme to win Anakin over to his side, and it worked. That being said, when I and for those wondering where I got the ideals to dogma fanaticism, it's from Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, again, I never played this game either, because many call it the worst game in the Assassin's Creed series, mostly due to its launch day bugs. The bugs that were found in the game during when it came out in its launch window. But what Arno said holds weight. Now, granted, he was using it to describe how he initially viewed the creed of the Assassin's Brotherhood. How nothing's true and everything is permitted means that you're free to do as you wish in order to get to your goal. Very much like a Sith in some ways. To pursue your goal and passions no matter the cost. Though one would say he was acting like a Templar, and here's what the Templar Code is: uphold the principles of our order and for all that which we stand. Never divulge the true nature of our work. Do so unto death, whatever the cost. Or something along those lines. As we all know what the Assassin's Creed is, where other men blindly follow the truth, nothing's true, and where other men are limited by their morality or law, everything's permitted. Work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins. And I'm getting off track, but I'm just trying to make a point here. And I know I'm going a little off track, but I'm trying to make a point based on the principle of why I said what I said. Arno came to the realization he had been looking at the code the creed of the Brotherhood the wrong way. And in my opinion, a lot of people look at the codes of both the Jedi and the Sith the wrong way. One is viewed as the ultimate act of grant of proclamation of pro-abstinence from all attachments. The other is basically a decree that you're free to do whatever you want and achieve your goal no matter the cost. But to me, both codes, when you put them together, are you look at them side by side, are not grants of permission. The codes of the Jedi and the Sith are a warning against dogmatic fanaticism. And I don't know if George Lucas set it up that way when he wrote both the original and the prequel trilogies. And if any of the writers of the games, the comics, and the novels, as well as several of the TV series, spin-off TV shows, looked at it looked at both codes from that perspective either. If they did, I would commend them for it. I mean, one of the biggest contradictions and biggest critics of the Jedi Code is Jolie Bindo from Kodor 1, though he was very apathetic and kind of hypocritical to his own beliefs. Namely, the belief that love does not lead to the dark side itself. It's the passions and rage that lead to fear that can be controlled. But teaching you to control your passions while you are in love is something that the Jedi neglect to teach. And some would say for good reason, as anyone who has even the slightest attunement to the Force is basically marked for a life of loneliness, as some would say. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. But leave a comment and, give me your opinions. Smash the like and sub to this channel. This is probably the only other Star Wars discussion video I'm ever going to do. That's all I've got. Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye and good night. Bang. And may the Force be with you, for better or worse.